Chapter 11. Telling him everything. Anna Veronica is back in Denmark. Her friends help her empty the storage room and move into the house, which should have been ready by now, but is not. She moves in anyway. The alternative would be to go back to Norway with Odin. Anna Veronica doesn't know what she would have done without her friends, who help her with everything, from cleaning the house to assembling the bathroom furniture, and within a couple of weeks the toilet, the shower and the wood burner are also in place. In the meantime she can use the facilities in the main house. Things are working out and she's relieved to be settling in. Finally she has found a place to live. Well, at least that is what she thinks, but little does she know. Whenever she can, Anna Veronica puts on her hiking boots and goes for long walks in nature. She absolutely loves this area with the wide open countryside, the wild and beautiful woodlands, the soft rolling hills, the meadows alive with herbs and wild flowers, and the fresh green pastures with strong healthy cows and horses. She enjoys the sight of them grazing peacefully, blissfully unaware of the drama going on in the heads of human beings. The time in nature always makes her feel invigorated, and Odin is in heaven, especially if he finds a mud hole. Anna Veronica is not so enthusiastic about this habit of his, but somehow the sight of their normally beautiful white dog covered in mud is too funny to get really upset about. She sometimes jumps in the car and drives into this vast area, along its many dirt roads, before she finds a place to park and goes walking on some of the numerous hiking trails. Other times she walks from the house. The opportunities seem endless, and it feels like going on new adventures as she explores undiscovered paths. Anna Veronica walks into the forest, up and down hillsides, along large fields and meadows. She walks along the lengthy seashore, sometimes with her bare feet in the water. Whenever she goes to one of the highest points, there is a breathtaking view over the coastline, stretching for miles and miles, with the vast sea sparkling in the light from the sun. Anna Veronica breathes in deeply, mesmerized by the beauty of it all. She cannot for the life of it see herself going back to working full-time. Resting, getting lots of sleep and walking in nature helps, but more stress will only make her sick. She is low on finances, and at some point she signs up at the unemployment office. Not ideal, but it's only temporary, and the benefits pay the rent. She applies for jobs and goes to work in a library for a month. It is the kind of work that she would actually love to do, but it's through the unemployment office and is only temporary. Besides, the truth is that for the time being Anna Veronica is not exactly the kind of employee who is 100% dedicated to making a career, and she knows that people can often sense these things. She doesn't judge herself though, instead she understands herself. From the email communication with Jacob, Anna Veronica can tell he is going through hard times. Event after event seem to challenge him to the core. Although she has plenty to do keeping her own head above water, she feels for him. Still she's resisting meeting up. In her head it's not meant to be, and no matter what his marriage might be like, it's not fair to his wife. Anna Veronica feels for her as well. It is during these times that she starts making YouTube videos about being in a connection like this. The journey is, and has been, so intense and overwhelming that she wants to share her experiences with anyone who might find them useful. One day, from a cozy corner in the living room, Anna Veronica sits down in the famous armchair that left her elbow in a state of numbing pain for a whole year after the legendary night in the storage room, and makes her first video. She calls her channel Twin Flame Journey, though the name is unimportant. What is important is if somebody out there is going through similar challenges and finds her channel inspiring or maybe even helpful. She talks about rejection, separation, pain, deep wounding, stress, compassion, mission, and other subjects as they come to her. She also benefits from sharing her journey like this. It's healing in a way. Anna Veronica tells Jacob about the videos, and he seems to be fine with it, although he does not really seem to care or take much notice. That autumn, there is news on social media about a movement in North Dakota, where thousands of people from all over the world gather to make a stand against the building of a pipeline near the Standing Rock Indian Reservation. The pipeline will go under the Missouri River, potentially contaminating the drinking water of thousands of people in the region. Before Anna Veronica knows it, she is on her way to Standing Rock with 2 others from Scandinavia. Things happen so fast. People talk about what is going on there. Someone suggests that maybe somebody from Denmark could go, and from then on, donations for the trip start to come in from the grandmothers and other people concerned about the environment. The tickets are ordered, and within a couple of weeks they are on the plane to the USA. They stay with friends for a couple of nights before they meet up with the grandmothers and other water protectors, then head west. After a long drive and a night in a motel, they reach Standing Rock early in the morning. Upon arriving at the camp, they can see the whole area from a hilltop. It is covered with teepees, tents, mobile homes, trucks, vans, and cars. Everywhere flags are waving against the blue sky, representing different tribes and nations. This is an historic event, and as they drive through the entrance, there is a sign saying, "No drugs, no alcohol. This camp is for ceremony and prayer." They park the cars and begin to walk slowly around the camp. It seems to instill a sense of peace and quiet in these first hours of the day. Early morning smoke stretches and yawns from fresh bonfires around the camp. People are about to wake up and start their day. Wherever they go, signs are saying, "We are protectors, we are peaceful, we are non-violent." People are wearing t-shirts with the text, "Water is life," or "Mini Vichoni," meaning the same in their native language. They go to the sacred fire, which is burning night and day, and offer some tobacco and a prayer into the living flames. A few people are getting ready to make a morning announcement from the microphone there. It is from this place that information, talks, songs and drumming are shared from morning until night. A little later they come to one of the kitchen tents in the camp. It is all based on voluntary work and donations from all over the world. The young man managing the large cooking pots tells them that he has come to stay for some months to run the kitchen. Anna Veronica is a little uncertain as to whether it's okay to take pictures, so she asks him. He is grateful for the question, but tells her that he does not want any taken, as the camp is for ceremony and prayer. She's beginning to like this place, and they sit down and enjoy a lovely meal, feeling grateful for being welcome here. Later in the day, Anna Veronica meets a young woman and her boyfriend who have come in with a truck full of supplies and barrels to be used for stoves in the winter. They tell her that it has all been donated from people back home. She jumps in the truck with them to help unload the barrels, and is so impressed by this small yet strong and powerful woman as she maneuvers this huge vehicle elegantly around the camp. Anna Veronica stays at Standing Rock for 2 weeks, and from this journey she brings home with her some of those memories and moments that will stay in her heart forever. Like one late afternoon on Facebook Hill, a small hilltop inside camp where the internet connection is good and where people go to charge their mobile phones, check their emails, and send videos and pictures to people back home. While she is there, her eyes catch some children who are freewheeling down the hill on skateboards, only to run back up to do it again. They are laughing and playing the way only kids can. It strikes her what a stark contrast their happiness is in comparison to the violent events at the front line not that far from the camp. Anna Veronica smiles as she watches them play. The children are the innocent ones. She loves to talk to people here. She simply cannot help it. It's in her blood. She loves stories, and everyone has got their own unique story to tell. A man in the camp shares his story with her. He lives in his van and is grieving the loss of his dog, which recently died as a result of drinking the contaminated water. This man's eyes shine with a mix of the wisdom of the soul and the experience of being a human being on earth. I don't love that many people. I'm here for the animals and the wildlife. It's one of those sentences that stays with Anna Veronica. A young woman is at Standing Rock with her mom, and she shares her story from the front line earlier that day. We're just standing there doing nothing, as are the police. They are hiding behind their masks, no ID badges on any of them. You would think that at least some of them might be nice, but then one of them moves suddenly and the rest of them just follow blindly and attack us. The young woman shakes her head and laughs a little in resignation. Are you going back to the front line? Anna Veronica is impressed at how fearless this woman seems. Yes, I'm definitely going back there. She does not hesitate for a moment. Then someone else wants to talk to her, and Anna Veronica continues to talk to her mom. Are you worried about her? The mother is smiling warmly when she replies, I'm proud of her. I have 3 daughters. She's my oldest and she's the wild one. Anna Veronica knows that if one of her daughters did something like that, she would be worried sick. But this mom is more proud than worried. Anna Veronica is intrigued. Being her mom, can you tell if she's traumatized from what happened today? Anna Veronica is beginning to feel a bit like a journalist, but these are real-life stories from real people. The mother looks at her daughter with a tender smile and nods her head almost imperceptibly. Yes, she's a little traumatized. One morning Anna Veronica attends a winterization meeting, a meeting to inform people about what is needed to prepare for winter, and this is when she realizes that it is coming and it will be arriving soon. The man in charge explains that people will be working both day and night, and that those sleeping in summer tents will come and ask for help. Volunteers are needed everywhere, and after the meeting Anna Veronica walks over to Rosebud, which is the camp on the other side of the Cannonball River, and finds a place where some people are building a yurt. They seem like nice people, and they need extra help, so this is where she spends the next few days. The man in charge of building the yurt is a man of few words, but he's friendly, strong as a horse, and is working from early morning until late in the night. It is getting colder every day, and they must hurry if they are to finish the building project. When Anna Veronica asks him if he always works this hard, he nods his head slowly and tells her that he does, every day. He tells her that it is good for his soul. Anna Veronica also works with 3 young men from Canada who have come to stay for the winter. One of them shares his story with her. My friend asked me if I wanted to come. I'm a musician and quit 3 jobs to come here. We stopped at gas stations playing music so that we were able to earn some money and get gas to make it all the way. We had a sign saying, "We're going to Standing Rock." My parents don't know that we're here. They wouldn't understand. Anna Veronica spends the first couple of days helping to peel lodge poles to be used for the construction, and after that most of the time inside the yurt sewing. She never knew that she could sew before this, but she learns fast. A beautiful, bright 4-year-old boy comes to visit them almost every day, mostly looking for snacks. One day he comes in with a twig in his hand and is pointing it in many directions. "I'm a policeman and I have tear gas." Anna Veronica is the only grown-up in the yurt at the moment, and she stops the sewing machine for a moment. The little boy looks at her. What can she say to this little man? She smiles at him. "Did you hear the grown-ups talk about the police and the tear gas?" At first he doesn't answer, but continues to look at her with his big, beautiful eyes. Anna Veronica smiles at him reassuringly. "Do you know that you are safe here in camp with your mom and dad?" After a few seconds, the little child nods his head a little and responds, "There won't be any police here in camp." Anna Veronica nods her head to show him he is right. "That's right, you're safe here." Then he smiles and looks around for something to eat. She does not see the twig anymore, and when she continues to sew, she can feel this beautiful little boy in her heart. Anna Veronica is blessed with warm nights and many hours of good sleep. She has found a nice and warm sleeping bag in one of the donation tents and sleeps like a baby inside the yurt, which has a wood stove that is burning all night. Not everyone is so lucky, and many discover that the winters here are to be taken very seriously. There is so much activity in camp these days, as people are busy preparing for the cold. Anna Veronica knows that her time here is coming to an end, and one morning she walks around camp to ask if anyone is leaving in the next couple of days. She's lucky to get left with 3 young people who are heading back in the same direction that Anna Veronica is going the next day. Things are working out again, thankfully. After 8 hours on the road with head-banging music blaring from the loudspeakers, they arrive at their destination. Anna Veronica was young once too, but there are moments when she seriously wonders whatever happened to the wonderful music from the 80s. She goes to stay with their friends that first welcomed them into their home. They will take her to the airport in a couple of days. She's exhausted and falls asleep almost as soon as her head hits the pillow. The next morning she almost bursts into tears as the couple make her a warm cup of coffee and hand it to her while she is still under the quilt. She is so grateful, and her emotional state makes her realize that the days at Standing Rock have been more intense than she was initially aware of. The most unexpected gift that Anna Veronica brings home from this trip is that she meets a man with the same heartfelt connection as with Jacob. She never thought she would ever meet somebody else with the same feeling of love that she feels for him, but she does. They both know it's not meant to be, but to Anna Veronica it's a beautiful gift that she will keep deep within her heart. This special man also gives her a prayer. It's a prayer for the people. Anna Veronica spends the last of her money on the flight ticket back to Norway, where she will stay with her parents for a few weeks before she goes back to Denmark. While she's with her parents, the fairy tale book about the 3 little troll girls, Tulle, Trulle and Mulle, is born. The stories go back almost 20 years to when her 2 daughters, Malou and Julianne, were little. One night before bedtime, the 3 troll girls popped up in Anna Veronica's mind, and from then on their daughters only wanted to hear a new story about these girls every night before bedtime. Anna Veronica suddenly remembers the stories one night when she is putting her niece and nephew to bed. When her mom comes into the bedroom to say goodnight, she can see her 2 grandchildren listening with wide open eyes to one of the stories. She encourages Anna Veronica to write them down, and in no time at all, 8 little stories are born. She writes almost 1 story every day. Her mom reads it, then her sister and her family. Anna Veronica is having so much fun recalling the stories about Tulle, Trulle and Mulle, who can make themselves invisible by touching Mr. Invisibility's stone and saying some magic words before they go to visit the humans in a little village just outside the troll forest. When they find that some people are not nice to each other, they decide to help the humans a little, in their own special way. Back in Denmark, Anna Veronica's financial situation is bad yet again. The payments for her various insurances are due next month, and she must find a way to do so if she is to keep the car. She cannot live so far out in the countryside without it. With Alexander in college, a thought comes to her mind. She can go and live with her parents in Norway for a short while. Her dad is getting older, and although her mom is one of those everyday heroes looking after him, she is not getting any younger. When Anna Veronica begins to investigate the opportunities and make the necessary phone calls, she finds out that by moving to Norway, she can get her Danish pension savings. She has been looking for a way to finance the printing of the fairy tale book, and this could be her chance. Whenever she does any research, the universe seems to be saying, "Go, go, go." This must be a case of meant to be. Well, it was meant to be, but little did she know. 1 month later, Anna Veronica moves out of the house, with help from Liva and Liam. She has no idea what she would have done without them. Everything is working out. Alexander is moving from his room at the college into an apartment together with a friend, and can use the kitchenware as well as the famous armchair. Julianne gets the car, and Malou gets some money now that Anna Veronica is in receipt of some of her pension. It has been a long time since she could help her children out with money, so it feels good. The woman who is moving into the house after her needs furniture, so what is now left of Anna Veronica's earthly belongings can be stored in a small storage room located in the basement where Liam lives. She is grateful that things seems to be working out when the situation could have been so much worse. Back in Norway, Anna Veronica starts her Norwegian publishing company and investigates ways on how to publish the fairy tale book. She begins the process of proofreading and editing the stories. Her brother Christian helps her with the layout and design, and he finds an artist who makes the most wonderful illustrations. Then the work with the printing company begins. Anna Veronica orders 2,000 printed copies, and the result is great. 1,500 will go to the Norwegian libraries, and from the research she has done, the many emails she has written, and all the phone calls she has made, she's almost certain that they will buy them. This is Anna Veronica's great chance of freeing herself financially to continue her writing career. This is her plan, but little does she know. A few weeks later, Anna Veronica receives a letter from the libraries saying that the book has not been selected. What she does not know is that they will keep the 1,500 books anyway. They have already been sent to all the libraries throughout the whole country. Anna Veronica has spent her pension, and now she has no money coming in. She is not paying rent living with her mom, but how is she going to pay for her bills and food? She always contributes when she is with her parents. For the next several days, she's on the phone trying to find a job, but has no success with that. Maybe they could hear the underlying desperation in her voice. There is no other way, so she signs up at the unemployment office only to get a long letter with a list of paragraphs explaining why she is not entitled to any help. Anna Veronica hits rock bottom. She feels that her very survival is under threat and spends the next couple of days walking in nature just to breathe in fresh air and try to restore her well-being. All her life she has had a home and money for food. Anna Veronica feels just like a nobody, like no one in the whole world would give a rat's ass if she became homeless. She knows this is not true, but that is how it feels in that moment, until she is able to change her perspective. Anna Veronica's mom helps her, as if it were the most natural thing in the whole world. She can live there without paying rent, and she knows how lucky she is. Not everyone is so lucky. There are many people out there who are homeless. Anna Veronica's concern for the state of the world and the suffering that some people go through is not becoming any less since she embarked on this rather interesting journey. After a while she finds work in a kindergarten. She loves children, and working part-time is okay, although she is often glued to the armchair most of the evening after a day at work. The need to rest is huge, and she easily sleeps 10 to 11 hours every night. What gets to her most about her new job is the noise. It's as if her nervous system is becoming hypersensitive, but she manages to work there for a few months. It is during this time that Anna Veronica becomes more interested in ancestral healing work. She is searching her family history and knows that one of her great-grandmothers lost her husband during the Spanish flu pandemic, when her 3 sons were very little. One of their sons was Anna Veronica's grandfather on her mother's side. Her great-grandmother found herself in a situation where she could not make ends meet and needed help from her family to get by. Having 3 little children to feed and care for, Anna Veronica can only imagine the trauma and stress she went through, and there were no unemployment offices back then. The story goes that every year before Christmas, which was the time of year that her husband died, her great-grandmother would go and stay inside a room in the house all alone. Maybe it was to grieve, maybe it was something else. Anna Veronica does not know, but she realizes that there are some parallels to her own situation, with no money and massive stress. Now the question is there a connection between them, and what can she do about it? She has a beautiful ring from her great-grandmother, which she keeps in a necklace chain close to her heart. She does so for a long time. That autumn, Anna Veronica and Jacob decide to meet up. Another 18 months have passed since they last met, and this time she really wants to see him. She's pretty sure it will be the last time they will meet, and she wants to end it in a good way. She wants to tell him everything. Well, maybe not everything, but she wants to be honest with him and share with him what she has come to understand about herself as a result of this connection. Anna Veronica has tried to send him a couple of links about twin flames, but he doesn't seem interested. She gets a cheap flight early in the morning and takes the train in the middle of the night to be there in time. She brings a lightweight sleeping bag and a mattress, and after checking in, finds a corner in the airport where she tries to get some sleep. This is helped by stuffing her earplugs firmly in. These always were her best friends and travel companions, but sleeping is pretty much impossible. When Jacob picks her up at the airport, Anna Veronica is tired, and she can tell that he is not in a good place, looking pale and exhausted. Once they find the place where they will stay, he gives her 4 big bags full of clothes that he has bought for her. There are t-shirts, blouses, dresses, trousers, sweaters, jacket, and underwear. She's almost too overwhelmed to know what to say. He has spent a small fortune, and she has not had money to buy new clothes for herself in a long time. They are too tired and stressed out to be lovers this time, but Jacob enjoys it when Anna Veronica gives him a massage or tickles his back. A couple of times he falls asleep mumbling how soothing and relaxing he finds it. He has told her many times that she should try and get some approved training and make an income from giving people massage. During the first day, they spend some time driving around the area, and whether it is coincidence or not, at some point they find themselves driving through an area where Jacob lived as a child. He points in the different directions and tells her about the various places, the name of one of the schools that he went to as a kid, the soccer field, the house they lived in, and the name of their neighbors back then. That night, Anna Veronica talks as if her life depends upon it. Well, maybe not as if her life depends upon it, but let's just say that she's quite talkative and that Jacob hardly gets a word in. She's so convinced that this is the last time they will meet up, and she wants him to know. She has nothing to lose and nothing to hide anymore. She is determined to share with him some of her innermost feelings, so she talks and he listens. This connection that we have, I know you never comment on this twin flame thing, and I know it's only a name, but it has done something to me. It has brought up all kinds of stuff in me. Anna Veronica continues before Jacob gets a chance to respond. I never really thought I was lovable. I guess that goes for most of us. Jacob is trying to be supportive, but Anna Veronica doesn't need support. She needs to empty her heart. You don't understand. I never thought anyone could really love me for just being me. I always thought I had to do something or prove something to be appreciated by others. I never knew love. I never knew how to really love or be loved. Of course, I love my children more than anything, but I'm referring to the love of a man. Anna Veronica has got Jacob's attention by now, and she can tell that he's listening. I don't really trust men. I never did. I never expected a man to really love me. I never learned how. It's in my system. I never really learned to love myself either. To love myself for no other reason than just being me. And I have all these rejection patterns. We all have that, I guess. Jacob's voice is calm and soothing, but Anna Veronica interrupts him and continues. No, you don't understand. I have felt so rejected by you, because of the things you have said and because you are still married. That's why I haven't wanted to meet up and try to let the whole thing go so many times. After talking for what seems like hours, Jacob falls asleep, but Anna Veronica is still very much awake. She has done what she came here to do. She told him all the things that she wanted to share with him, and God did not put that man here on earth to judge her. Jacob never does. The next day they are both even more exhausted, but they have decided to go to a special place by the sea. Anna Veronica was there in her 20s with a study group and fell in love with the place. Although it is almost 30 years ago, she can still recall the experience very clearly. It was a feeling of remembering something, as if she had been there before, and she just loved the place. She has wanted to go back there ever since, and now is the chance. Coincidence or not, Jacob's dad lives in that direction, and he can combine this trip with going to see him. After a few hours on the road, they reach their destination. Jacob is completely worn out and falls asleep in the car, while Anna Veronica goes for a walk on the path that leads towards the narrow tidal island at the end of the bay. The tip has the shape of a long, slender serpent looking out towards the vast sea. It brings her joy and soothes her soul to walk here, as she breathes in the fresh air and admires the variety and beauty of this area. Anna Veronica walks peacefully in the sun as she watches the water smash against the steep cliffs, the wide open grasslands, the white sand covering the beautiful shoreline, the ancient rocky landscape, and the sparkling sea invigorate her. It strikes Anna Veronica that this time she's having more of a love affair with nature than with Jacob, and it feels as if she has walked here before. She wonders, did she live here once, in another lifetime, or in a parallel life? One of the last things Anna Veronica says to Jacob before she goes home is to take a look at his tendency towards paranoia. She tells him it is very unlike him, that it's not who he is, and that it comes from his dad and is ancestral. Jacob nods his head to show her that he understands, but he is looking pale and worried. Anna Veronica feels for him. She feels for him and all the other twin flame men on this planet. If only people knew what they are going through. For the next 2 winters, Jacob is in a deep depression, unlike anything he has ever experienced before.